So for the entire week leading up to this game, I had the suspicion, this weird gut feeling that this was going to be a repeat of the 2018 season finale where Chicago comes into our stadium, makes us look like fools, knocks us out of the playoffs, and walks out with a win. And sure enough, it happened. It was deja vu. It was a repeat performance, maybe not in the same manner, but the outcome is the same. Chicago gets the win, the Vikings get the loss. We are now 6-8. Our playoff hopes are all but dead. I mean, they might as well be dead. I mean, it's 4% chance to get in. It would take miracles upon miracles upon miracles to get into the playoffs now. And even if we could, we are not worthy. We are not worthy of the playoffs. We need to go 6-10, and we need to go think about what we did this season. I think that is the route that needs to happen. We will probably get beat by the Saints next week, and then if this team gives up, they'll lose to Detroit, which would be embarrassing, and maybe it needs to happen. You know, I've always said, you know, since the bye week that it would take an epic, well, not since the bye week, but since the little 3 or 4 game winning streak that they had mid-season, I always said it would take an epic collapse for people to get fired, and maybe that's what they need. But I digress on that point. So yeah, I didn't take notes during the game. I just wanted to sort of absorb it as a fan and not as a critic. But there's a lot of things that are just continue to be a problem week after week, and it's the same stuff over and over. This feels like a repeat of the Tampa Bay game, just without the missed field goals. And props to Nan Bailey for coming back and figuring it out. True professional, takes guts to be able to do that. Warm-ups, from what I heard in warm-ups, I was looking a little iffy, but, you know, he made his kicks, so props to him, silver lining. Just wish it meant something, really. So here we are again. The offensive line is garbage. It's the same excuses as 2018. It's the end of year 3. I know there's 2 games left, but this is it. It's over. And it just happens to end in week 15 instead of week 17. But I don't know. I would like change. I know people want to defend Kirk Cousins and Mike Zimmer to their death, and I don't understand those people. Vikings fans, if you're here right now, let's connect telepathically. Feed me your brainwaves and let me know why it is that you think Kirk Cousins is deserving to stay on this team at the salary that he's making and the production and the amount of wins that we get. Because last time I checked, people still credit quarterbacks with wins and losses. I don't, you know, maybe that's a different conversation whether or not we should be doing that, but they still do it. You could go online and look everybody's up. Kirk Cousins, 51-2 in his entire career. And since he's been in Minnesota, we have gone 8-7-1, 10-6, and we are currently 6-8. None of that's good. You know, we had one season that amounted to nothing because we got bumped in the playoffs, and the only reason that these people are still around is because we accidentally beat the Saints last year in the first round. So, Kirk Cousins stands. You got to help me figure out why you still pound the table for this guy, because it makes no sense. They clearly don't trust him. We run the ball way too damn much, which is the kryptonite of this offense, where you are running consistently, no matter what down and distance it is. You know, we get. I understand he doesn't play defense. He doesn't kick field goals. He doesn't tackle David Montgomery. He doesn't intercept Mitchell Trubisky. He's not. Those aren't his things. Those aren't his jobs. And I'm tired of that shtick, right? Every time the Vikings lose, they go on social media and they got to defend Kirk Cousins by saying, well, he doesn't do these things, so it's not his fault. When is it going to be? Because let me ask you this question. Cam Dantzler comes down with a critical interception in the end zone at the end of the fourth quarter there, giving us the ball back with time to go down the field and win the game. How many first downs did Kirk Cousins get that drive? 0. Turnover on downs was the result of that drive after the Dantzler interception. Wasted opportunity. The drives where he does get down the field and, you know, scores points at the end of the game, pure accident. You know, it's not something that he can do. It's just, it's the same result over and over again. And if you're going to consistently be happy, you know, riding the merry-go-round of mediocrity with a 500 record, you're in the wrong sport. I mean, this team's never won a Super Bowl, and that should be the goal. And Kirk Cousins is not going to be the one to deliver you that trophy or anything close to it. So, I mean, it's been 3 years. He's incredibly overpaid. He's fine statistically, but when it comes, you know, when it comes between the ears, and it's just not there. He's too corporate. He doesn't have the mojo. He doesn't have the leadership traits, and they clearly don't trust him to run the offense. So, I don't know. I don't get it. You'll have to explain it to me. I am not a Kirk Cousins fan in the least. I've been disappointed with him since day one. And it always goes back to the end of that 2018 season finale, right, against Chicago, where, you know, he was at the post-game press conference. Reporters were asking him what happened in the game. And, you know, he was like, you know, don't worry about it. This is year one. We still got to come up with code words and all these other little ins and outs that we can work on. Well, we're going to be heading into year 4 with all the same problems. So you tell me why you should be paid this much to hand the ball off 30 times. Dalvin Cook needs to be shut down for the rest of the season. We have to save him. He's got too much tread on the tires this year, and any usage of him beyond this point is worthless and actual negligence, and that should get you fired. Justin Jefferson, what's his name? Judd Zolgad on Score North makes a great point that the clock is ticking on this kid. We know he's good. We know he's good right now. He breaks the rookie record for the Minnesota Vikings in receptions, breaks Randy Moss's record. I think he ended up with 70 total catches after this game. And the clock's ticking. If, you know, he's young, he's going to want to win, and we're currently not doing that. So I think if we don't have a good season next year and Kirk Cousins is still around, it's going to be Stephon Diggs part 2. Stephon Diggs saw the writing on the wall. He was right. He was absolutely correct with the direction that this team was going. And it's just too much 1996 style football, run and play defense, and it's just not built for this age of the NFL. So yeah, that's a big problem. I'm extremely worried about that. Mike Zimmer has got to go. He's a great coach. He's a good defensive scheme strategist, but he's just not an NFL head coach. It's just not in his blood. He doesn't care enough about what's going on the offense. He doesn't care enough about what's going on in special teams. He only cares about coaching up his defense and having one game plan, and he hopes it works, and it just hardly ever does anymore. You know, somebody else made a great point that we let him build his great defense, and it was here, and it's finally gone. What did we win? We won nothing. So I don't understand. You know, there are teams that are really good with, you know, defenses that aren't in the top 10. You know, they don't have a top 10 defense every single year. It's the year that they win. That's the only year that matters. What else? Kind of wrap this up before it gets to 10 minutes. Try to. Yeah, I really don't have much else. I guess that's just where I'm at for right now. Don't forget to leave a comment on today's video so that we can do this again tomorrow for the day after, which is always fun reading your guys' comments and reacting to them. So I guess now we really get to start talking about the draft. We really get to start talking about free agency and contracts. I guess the stress is off for the last 2 games. I was really worried about the Saints game being a revenge game where we would get knocked out of the playoffs there. So I guess I'm a little happy that it happened before that, because I would not be able to tolerate Saints fans just, you know, dragging us through the mud. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens the rest of the way. I'm not confident. I'm not confident in this current makeup, this current formula. We need to see big systemic changes in the offseason. And it starts at the top, and I just don't know if the Will family is going to do it because they're too afraid of being non-competitive, right? You know, technically we were competitive this year. We were in the race up until this point. And it's just, you know, if that's the level of competitiveness that they're willing to accept, we might just be a mediocre franchise until they sell the team. I don't know. But at some point, mediocrity has to die out. We have to stop grading ourselves on the bell curve of boring, and we have to draft a franchise quarterback. We have to let this Kirk Cousins thing go. You have to draft a quarterback every single year until you hit on a Patrick Mahomes or a Deshaun Watson or an Aaron Rodgers. You cannot be content with a career quarterback that is 500 and can't do the things that quarterbacks who win Super Bowls now are doing. And that is basically where I leave this video. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to leave a comment, and I'll see you tomorrow.